Some of the most powerful connections in cinema aren't built on friendship or romance. They're simply built on recognition, on two people locked into opposite roles suddenly realising you're the same as me. That's what Michael Mann's Heat is really about. Michael Mann doesn't present heroes and villains. Instead, these are haunted people living by codes driven by obsession and shaped by pain. Neil McCauley is a thief. Vincent Hanna is a cop. But both men are brilliant at what they do and are utterly committed. But in their own ways, both are crumbling.
I do what I do best. I take scores. You do what you do best, trying to stop guys like me.
That line sounds badass, it gets quoted all the time, but there's something tragic underneath it, a kind of resignation, a sense that neither man knows how to live any other way. This isn't a choice for them anymore, it's who they are, or at least who they've convinced themselves they have to be. The job isn't something they do, it's something they are. Vincent is a chaotic character, always moving and always intense. But he's also hollowed out. He gives everything to the chase and has nothing left for the important people in his life. His third marriage is falling apart and his stepdaughter is drowning. And all he can do is keep pushing forward.
All I am is what I'm going after.
I've always found that line just truly stunning, and it really gets to the heart of it. Neil, on the other hand, is completely in control of his own world. Every move is calculated, every emotion locked down. His famous rule, don't get attached to anything you can't walk away from in 30 seconds flat, isn't about coolness, it's about fear. He's built his life to avoid loss, but in doing so, he's avoided connection too. And yet, both of them are aching in the same way. Both are trapped, both are lonely. These two men couldn't be more different on the surface, but underneath they're suffering from the same issues. Michael Mann always presents these men moving at night, surrounded by city lights and distant noise, but never quite part of the world around them. Always on rooftops, in diners, on highways, places between places. They're not living, they're orbiting, drifting in and out of people's lives, never settling. They both live by codes they've written for themselves, not out of principle but survival. Vincent drowns himself in his approach, which is just intensity, and Neil floats above it all, pretending not to feel, but neither of them know peace. And what makes them so compelling is that they recognise this straight away in each other. They see it instantly. Obviously it all comes down to that diner scene. Two men who spent the entire film on opposite sides finally meet, not with guns drawn but across a small table sharing coffee. There's a calmness, a stillness, a moment where the masks drop and we see them as they truly are, and they recognise each other deeply. They're on opposite sides of the law, but in this moment it's not about cops and criminals, it's about shared loneliness, shared obsession and shared sacrifice.
If I'm there and I gotta put you away, I won't like it. But I'll tell you, if it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife you're gonna turn into a widow, brother, you are going down.
That line isn't just a threat or a warning, it's an admission. They both know that this dance that they have will end in one of their deaths. One of them will be the other's destiny. Neither wants it, and yet both accept it. This scene is like a quiet confession between two souls bonded by the same code. Men who have built walls around themselves so high that love and normal life can't break through. They understand each other better than anyone else ever could. And that understanding isn't comforting, it's tragic. Heat makes you feel the weight of the lives they live. Not just in adrenaline and bullets, but in the silence and the choices that they never made. One of the quietest, most unsettling truths that Heat whispers to us is this: be careful how quickly you judge someone. Vincent and Neil live on opposite sides of the law, and yet when they finally come face to face, it's not hatred or contempt that fills the space, it's recognition. Because the truth is, we're all more alike than we admit. Sometimes the person you think is your enemy, the one you're trying to catch or the one you're trying to escape, is simply a mirror. Same loneliness, the same fear. That's the scary part, that's the fragile thread that connects us all. We like to think we're so different. that the lines between right and wrong, good and bad are completely clear. But Heat challenges that. It asks us to look deeper through these two characters, to see the man behind the badge and the man behind the crime, and to realise they're shadows of the same broken feeling. Let's talk about the relationships that these two men have in the film. Both of them realise they're not truly capable of love. Not anymore. Vincent does love his wife, that much is clear, but he's chained to this road he's walking, this relentless pursuit of justice.
I told you when we hooked up, baby, that you were gonna have to share me with all the bad people and all ugly events on this planet.
That line isn't just about logistics, it's a confession, a warning. What he's really saying to her is, I'm already gone. My devotion belongs to the chase. The men I hunt get more of me than you ever will. In a way, Vincent ends up following Neil's rule without even meaning to. Emotionally, Vincent already has done that to his wife. He's always got one foot in and one foot out of his door. So it's crazy that when Neil describes that rule, it completely applies to Vincent. Neil, despite the fact he came up with the rule, tries to have both. He meets Edie and for a moment lets himself believe in something more. He breaks his own rules and steps outside the blueprint. He opens the door, and then inevitably he has to close it. The scene where he has to ultimately give up on her is a devastating moment, and Robert De Niro's performance is incredible. The way that Neil looks at her just before he walks away, you can feel how much he wants to stay and how much he knows he can't. He's trying to thread a needle that simply won't fit, to hold love in one hand and discipline in the other, and it tears him apart. And that's the real cost of these two men. It's not just bullets or blood. That's kind of the minor threat, believe it or not. It's the quiet fact that neither of them will ever truly belong to anyone. They've sacrificed the opportunity to love, and by the end, both of them know it. The one who survives is the one who ends it, not just the chase, but the cycle, the prison they've both been stuck in. And Vincent gets there first. And when he does, he doesn't look triumphant, he looks released, or maybe just empty. You can see it in Al Pacino's face in the final shot. Something has snapped, a cord has been cut. Maybe now he'll go back to his wife, maybe he won't, maybe it's already too late. We don't know. Heat doesn't give us that closure. It leaves us thinking. There's a sliver of possibility in that final moment that the fact that Neil is gone is enough for Vincent to finally stop running. But we are sat there thinking, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Vincent is still just as trapped, just as chained, because even though he has got rid of Neil, perhaps he had passed the point of no return.
I told you I'm never going back.
People like to talk about Heat as if it's a slick action film, and it is, but that's not what makes it great. What makes it fantastic is its emotional weight, its thoughtfulness, its stillness, the spaces between the action. It's a film about obsession, but also about reflection, about the parts of ourselves we bury to keep going, about the rituals we invent to survive, and about what it means to recognise yourself in the very person you're meant to destroy. That ending when Vincent is stood there, alone, the city lights behind him and Neil's hand still in his. You're just sat there overwhelmed and blown away by what you've witnessed, and you're left with several questions. Who are you when the job is over? What's left when the fire is finally put out? When you've finally achieved your goal that had kept you in this life that you thought there was no way back from? What is next for Vincent? Thanks for watching everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and keep the conversation going. Give me your thoughts on Heat in the comments below. Let me know what you think of these two iconic characters. I love hearing your take. Until next time, keep watching and keep thinking.